I always love to see some new Call of Duty Zombies content, and honestly, Black Ops 6 Zombies is an absolutely amazing zombies experience so far, and Treyarch just dropped a ton of news, information, details, and more about the upcoming Zombies update as a part of 115 Day, and I'm really excited to talk about this. I've been having a blast with zombies thus far, so I don't want to linger too long on this intro, and there's a good amount to discuss with this recent post from Treyarch, so yeah, but before we do that, be sure to subscribe with notifications set to all so you don't miss out on another upload. Alright, let's just get right into it. So first things first, we got some news on a new double XP event coming to Black Ops 6. This one is going to run from January 15 to January 21, so starting today, and will include double XP, double weapon XP, double battle pass XP, and double the Gobblegum earn rate, which is honestly great. I always love these fully stacked double XP events because it makes playing a lot more fun in my opinion, and Treyarch said that in honor of 115 Day, they're dropping the Black Ops 6 version of a quad feed for 6 days so that everyone can basically just load up on Gobblegums and maybe hit the next prestige before Season 2 drops on January 28th. So the event did go live at 10 AM Pacific time, so convert that to your local time zone if you have to. I also made a video yesterday about the best Gobblegums in Black Ops 6 Zombies so far, so you should definitely go and check that out. Alright, now aside from the double XP stuff, we've got the first major update news regarding Black Ops 6 Zombies. So the next Zombies map is actually releasing in less than 2 weeks, which is just great news. We got Citadel de Mort back in Season 1 Reloaded, so the next map, the Tomb, is dropping at the start of Season 2 on January 28th. Basically, the story will continue from Citadel de Mort, but it will follow Weaver, Gray, Carver, and Maya as they go to a nearby excavation site to secure the Sentinel artifact based on Gabriel Kraft's final words. So according to the lore here, the tomb was built on the remains of ancient burial grounds with suspected origins dating back to 2500 BCE, and these catacombs were undisturbed until the early 1900s. However, what lies inside the catacombs is far deeper than anyone could have imagined. A British archaeologist by the name of Sir Archibald Fotherington Smythe, great name honestly, conducted an excavation at the site back in 1908 with grand expectations. Although no one can say for sure what became of him, a handful of photographs from his doomed expedition have recently surfaced. We also got 2 images of these photographs done in the old style of cameras, of course, which is really neat, keeps the whole thing much more immersive, but in any case, we can see that there are some written notes on these images. The first one says this: Marjorie, you would not simply believe this place, dashed pyramids can go take a jump in a lake, what? And the second one says, this sight blithering well doth both baffle and amaze. I suppose I shall have to talk to Alistair for more than just the contents of his cellar. You don't know how many times it took me to say that second one. Treyarch went on to talk about how the tomb is supposed to provide an experience similar to that of Liberty Falls, which is currently, they said, their most played zombies map in recent years. The tomb will feature tighter play spaces with a focus on replayability. There's going to be a lot of side Easter eggs and also a reimagined wonder weapon inspired by previous zombie games, but they didn't talk more about that. Curious to see which one it's going to be, but we'll just have to wait for later. They also said that they're going to go for something more evocative with the Pack-a-Punch camos, and that one of the most iconic SMGs in zombie history is coming along for the ride. Interesting choice of words, but I'm very interested in seeing the Pack-a-Punch camos this time around. I know some people weren't fans of the ones in Liberty Falls. I saw someone online say that they look like baked beans, which you're not wrong, but I don't mind them personally. I like the Terminus one, to be honest. I'm interested though in seeing what sort of look the tomb is going to be taking on. There's also going to be a new original soundtrack for the tomb, and there's going to be a new Easter egg song, and they put a sort of snippet of, I guess, what it sounds like over on YouTube. I'm not going to play it here just because of, copyright concerns, but I'm going to link it in the description, and yes, it is heavy metal. I personally love the zombie soundtracks and the vibe that they have. Some of my favorite Avenged Sevenfold songs came from the zombie stuff, so yeah, I've grown attached to zombies Easter egg songs and OSTs and all that. Now, Treyarch also talked about Season 2 and a preview of some quality of life changes coming to the game. This is going to include some pretty neat stuff that the community has been asking about a lot lately, so I'll just talk about that now. The first change will be to challenge tracking in both zombies and multiplayer. You will be able to manually track up to 10 calling card challenges and 10 camo challenges per mode to easily keep track of challenges that you are progressing. If you have less than 10 challenges tracked, your nearest challenge to completion will display in those slots instead. So this will help you basically figure out what challenges you might be just about ready to finish up, which is great. The top tracked or near completion calling card challenge and camo challenge will both appear in the lobby as well as in-game via the options menu. This is definitely a long-awaited addition, and in my opinion, this is great because I usually have to write stuff down to keep track of things, so now I won't need to write them down. Just makes my life easier, honestly, and I'm sure that the same goes for many of you as well. For co-op and zombies and matches where everyone is in the same party, the party leader will now be able to pause the game so that you can all take breaks or regroup on strategy or do whatever. They acknowledge that people have been requesting this since launch, so it will be officially in the game in Season 2. This is great, and I definitely have seen a lot of people discussing this online, so this is a good change for sure. There will be an AFK kick loadout recovery feature, so what this means is that if you get kicked for going AFK in a co-op game, you'll be able to rejoin and restore your loadout. This is a great change because if you're watching something like an Easter egg guide and you get kicked, nothing is worse than just like losing everything you've gained so far, so this is a great change as well. And yes, we are finally going to get separate HUD presets for zombies and multiplayer, which is great because you'll be able to set up the HUD preset for zombies that you prefer without it affecting your multiplayer HUD preset and vice versa. Treyarch said that they wanted to get this one in sooner, but they had to focus on some other things first, but it will be finally added into Season 2. Personally, very happy about this change because I always forget to change stuff between modes, and I basically just got to a point where I didn't want to do that anymore, so this is very helpful. They also talked about directed mode stats in zombies. Basically, they said that players have put in over 400 million hours in Black Ops 6 Zombies in total, but that the main quest completion rate across both launch maps in zombies was under 4%, but that directed mode basically changed that. So Treyarch talked about how directed mode's purpose was to grow the zombies community by helping newer players get a guide through the main Easter egg quest so that they can get more invested in zombies. Personally, this was a big one for me. I'd played previous zombies in the older titles before, but I never really got super into it, and I wasn't that big of a player, and this time around though, I really wanted to give zombies a solid shot and to actually try, and directed mode really helped me a lot in the beginning to get used to how things actually work in this game. Plus it's awesome for camo grinding for Nebula, which I think is a big reason why a lot of people play directed. The main quest completion rate doubled from prior to the directed mode launch, so they said that they're still going to find ways to encourage people to complete a main quest, but they mentioned that the team is happy with the numbers so far. The design department at Treyarch also discussed how they pick Pack-a-Punch names and how the entire system basically gets designed. They talk about the origins of many Black Ops 6 Pack-a-Punch names, so I actually wanted to talk about this because I don't know about you guys, but I always love to see the inspiration behind stuff in video games. They're just fun details to know about because I'm sure the team put in a lot of times on these things, and I personally like to know the sort of process behind these sorts of things in gaming. I love, you know, those art guides and books and whatever, so this just kind of fits with what I enjoy reading about. They called the Tanto .22 the Kubikiri since a Tanto is a short sword from Japan, and the blade on the inside curve was used for Kubikiri, which cuts the head off of dead enemies for trophies. Makes sense in zombies, honestly. That's a pretty clever choice. The Goblin MK2 becomes the Ogre K12 because apparently they said, what's stronger than a goblin? Oh yeah, and make the number bigger. This makes total sense, honestly, a valid explanation. The AS Val becomes As If, based on slang from the 90s. The Jackal PDW becomes the Embalmer JMPW, which is based on Anubis, the ancient Egyptian god of funerary rites like embalming. He has the head of a jackal, and JNPW is apparently one way to write his name in ancient Egyptian. The GS45 becomes the Sally and Fourth, based on the Mustang and Sally from Black Ops 1. The Marine SP becomes the Bakunawa, which is a mythical Philippine moondragon. The XM4 is the Zeistermeister, which is supposed to be a backronym. The XMG is the Xenon Matter Granulator, which is another backronym and is related to the XM4's Xenomatter from Black Ops 4. The AK-74 becomes Rasputin's Rebuke. Rasputin's Russian makes sense. The GPR-91 becomes Geomyidae 41, which is the scientific name for a gopher, you know, the animal. The Sarkov 7.62 becomes the Sarcophagus KV-62, obviously based on the sarcophagus from ancient Egypt probably. The AAK-973 becomes the AOK 5x5, which means you're receiving a clear radio signal. Sigma 2B becomes Or Not To Be because To Be or Not To Be. This is probably my favorite one so far, honestly. The HE1 becomes H315H1M, which looks like he's him. PU21 becomes DK Thesis, and Thesis is the personification of rot and decay. I don't know if I said that right, but it's okay. Grakava becomes Kraka and Toa, which there's a volcano in Indonesia called Krakatoa, and I wanted to add this in here myself, but Squidward also shouts Krakatoa in that one episode of SpongeBob where they all got superpowers. The ASG-89 becomes Munmu's Protection because King Munmu wanted to become a dragon to protect his people, and the ASG-89 can use Dragon's Breath, so it can protect you basically. The SVD becomes Shadow Veiled Demon, and they said it was just a badass name and also like a shot out of nowhere. That is very valid. Thrustidine Model 23 becomes Scramjet Model 3200 because a scramjet is a powerful jet engine, and this is supposed to be also a reimagined wonder weapon. The DR-11 Beam Smasher becomes the supersonic crusher that uses sound and light to penetrate your soul. Honestly, I really liked seeing the inspiration behind these names. It's a fun tidbit to share with the community, and I appreciate the creativity that goes into these things. Like I said earlier, I'm a fan of learning about these sorts of things in games and whatever, so definitely a fun thing to learn about. They also featured some artwork and posts from the Twitter community, which you can check out who got featured in the post that they made on the website. I really like this sort of community engagement, and I think it's great on the Zombies team for really listening to the fans and communicating and actually giving us, the chance to give ideas and things like that. If there's one team that I think is genuinely listening this year, it has to be the Zombies team. It seems like they definitely took a lot of advantage of their development time, and I love the changes that we are getting so far. I'm glad that they reversed that directed mode nerf they put in place some time ago. Like, they are clearly listening, which I think is important for a major live service title like Call of Duty. But of course, I'm really happy to see that Treyarch's team is giving us a lot of info, and I'm excited for the next Zombies experience, the Tomb, that's coming up with Season 2. Hopefully we get lots of great maps throughout Black Ops 6, and I'm hoping to see more amazing content from Zombies. So far, it's been my favorite experience in Black Ops 6. I'm really enjoying it even more than multiplayer most of the time, so really happy to see Zombies being good this time. I'll wrap things up there. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe with notifications set to all so you don't miss out on another upload. Share this video and comment below what your thoughts are on the new info, if you're excited for the next Zombies map, and what you hope to see from Zombies in the future. And that's all for today, folks.